And in the series finale, Bronte knows she's the only hope for taking down Joe because he trusts her. He's oblivious to her actual motives as he tries to make his way to the Canadian border. And he does kind of have a plan. He's got Will working on fake documents, passports, that sort of thing to get them new identities. He's also got Will working on getting Henry over. And if you're wondering what Joe's plan was with Reagan when she went down to the islands and just somehow got lost, it was Will. Will was supposed to be the guy to take care of it. As for Bronte, it's not like she doesn't have opportunities to take out Joe, but she feels like she can't. Not until she gets the answers that she needs. She also beats herself up quite a bit about falling for this guy after knowing what she knew about him. But until she gets those answers, she has to continue to play nice. Now, she's not doing a great job at it. Joe can tell that she's scared, but he just figures she's scared because they're running off together, not because she's scared of him. He still firmly believes that she is into him for him. To put her mind at ease, he does tell her that he told something to Kate that was pretty damning. It was taken out of context, and in the moment, it made sense, but it's going to be tough to deny to the police, so he's kind of worried. He's not sure if they were followed or what, or if there's an APB out for him, so that's why they are fleeing. Because at this point, he hadn't told her the plan at all. They were just driving off in the countryside. But the plan is going to be to kind of lay low in the woods for a couple weeks, let the story die down, and then run off together. That's Joe's plan, at least. Joe gets super concerned when they stop off at a convenience store so he can fill up gas, and a state trooper pulls up. And the state trooper looks at him, and Joe's worried that maybe he fits a description of somebody they might be looking for. He just doesn't know. And that state trooper is doing nothing more than stopping off at a convenience store to grab something to eat. And this would be a good time for Bronte to maybe get the law involved, but when the state trooper helps her pick up some items from the ground that she dropped, Bronte doesn't say a word. Even after the state trooper asks, "Hey, are you all right?" Bronte says, "Yeah, of course, I'm fine." Because Bronte needs answers, and she's not going to get it if Joe's arrested. In a small twist of irony, though, as she's leaving the convenience store, she sees Beck's book. Yeah, it went from New York Times bestseller to convenience store in random New Hampshire, but hey, it's there, and she picks up a copy. She's pretty nervous when she gets back in the car and Joe can tell. And she's even more nervous when Joe starts rummaging around the bag from the convenience store thinking that he might find the book, but he was just looking at the marshmallows, which I'm on Joe's side with that one. They're delicious. After a little bit of a drive, Joe finds the place that he's looking for. It's a rental property that is kind of abandoned. I mean, there's nobody renting from it, and Joe knows that, so they're going to be squatting for about 2 weeks. It doesn't take long for Joe to start making himself feel at home. Can't really blame him, though. It's a lakefront property. It's really nice. It's big. It's spacious. And as Joe prepares dinner, Bronte hides the gun that she brought. She knows she's going to need that thing. While cooking dinner, though, Joe receives a phone call from Will letting him know about the Henry situation. When Henry plays his video game, he's going to be online, and it'll allow Joe to also jump on and talk to him. Will have to connect the two. But they obviously don't know when Henry will be online, so Joe's just going to have to kind of sit by the phone and wait for Will to call. But Joe's super excited about this opportunity because all he wants is to be a family with Henry, Bronte, and himself. Joe heads back inside, he finishes up dinner, and the two sit down and eat, and they start discussing Joe's book, the ending of it. It's really the first time where Bronte kind of pushes back on Joe because obviously the book is based on him and Bronte and the ending and all of that, and Bronte doesn't feel like Joe's ending for his main character in the book, Ezra, is fitting enough. She doesn't feel like he's been punished enough, which Joe's a little curious about. Like, what do you mean? I mean, I've pretty much lost everything, including my son. But she gets him back on her side by asking him, do I make it in your story? And he gets really close and says, yeah, of course, because, he's in love with her. After dinner, they go on a boat ride where, once again, Bronte goes in and out of falling for Joe and then re-remembering who he is, why she's there in the first place. It's tough. And then after that boat ride, they go to consummate that house. They head right up to the master bedroom. They start hooking up. Bronte pushes Joe's head downtown. And as Joe is heading down there, south of the border, that's when Bronte grabs the gun that she hid behind a pillow and puts it right at Joe's head. And now Joe knows, oh, I got catfished again. The first question she has is, how did you kill Guinevere Beck? But Joe goes into damage control, trying to talk her off the ledge and put the gun down. Joe trying his Jedi mind tricks, and Bronte not falling for it this time. She has the gun firmly pointed at him, and she wants some answers. She once again asks the question, how did you kill Beck? But Joe just tells her, you don't want to know. And she says, oh, no, I do. And then she throws Beck's book at him and says, you finished that book. I want you to cross out everything you wrote. I want you to redact yourself. And as he's doing it, Bronte is giving him a lecture on Joe stealing Beck's voice. It wasn't enough he stole her life. No, he had to steal her voice too. And Bronte took that as a personal attack. All the while, Joe continues to use the same tricks that he used to have her fall for him in the first place, questioning everything that she said, questioning her logic, and overall just gaslighting her. Right as Joe finishes redacting himself from the book, his phone goes off. And Bronte doesn't want to let him answer it, but he explains it could be Henry, and she says, okay, fine, put it on speakerphone. And Will hooks it up, and sure enough, yeah, it's Henry. But he does not want to talk to Joe. He's despondent, he's short with him. He does tell Joe that he is with Uncle Teddy, but as Joe continues to try to extract more information from him, Henry asks him, what did you do to Mommy? And Joe says, nothing. And then Henry tells Joe, you used to tell me there were no monsters in my room, but you lied because you were the monster. And then he hangs up. It's extremely tough for Joe to hear, and the only thing going through his head is the fact that Kate predicted it. She said, the last thing she said to him was, your son will know that you are a serial killer. All of a sudden, Joe starts looking inward. He starts going through like the 7 stages of grief, and he starts screaming, how did I become this person? He can't believe that his own son has turned on him, but he has. He looks up at Bronte and says, is this what I deserve? And Bronte, who still has the gun pointed at him, says, I don't know what you deserve, Joe, but you're not the victim. He asks Bronte, how do you think that this will be any different? I mean, I'm still here. And she says, you know how it'll be different? Because even I've turned on you. And that's when Joe knows that there's nothing he can say to get Bronte on his side, so he attacks her. He starts trying to kill her. She starts trying to get away. They both are jockeying for the gun. And when it goes off, Bronte does end up getting shot, but she is able to flee out of the house, and Joe goes after her. Now, it's night, so it's not easy to find somebody. And as Joe looks for Bronte outside, she's able to sneak around to the house and get back in, and she starts looking for her phone. The problem is there's so much blood on the phone and her finger that she can't properly press 911. Every time she tries, it messes up. And then when she looks outside of the window, here comes Joe, so she locks the door. She waits for Joe to enter the house, and then she jumps out the window. So when Joe does finally burst into that room, Bronte's gone. She's back outside. But the problem at this point is Bronte has been shot, her ankle's messed up, and she's hobbling, and now at this point it's not hard for Joe to find her. And he does. He tells her that when he twisted her ankle on purpose, he did so just to keep her around long enough so that they could talk. And Bronte's like, yeah, of course it was you. I mean, it was always going to end this way, wasn't it? And Joe loses it and says, no, it didn't have to. But you're ungrateful. You're spiteful. I mean, I made you special. And you're too selfish to know how good you had it. And Bronte just laughs and says, oh, there it is. That's the real you. You're a pathetic misogynist. And then Joe goes and attacks her. He pins her down. He screams, do you want to know how I killed Beck? Let me show you. She's able to stab him, though, in the side with something that she got from the convenience store. It was like a keychain, but something to keep women safe with pointy edges for guys like Joe. And Bronte tries to get away again, but Joe tracks her down, and he starts trying to drown her again. This time, though, it appears to work. But as Joe is admiring his work, he hears sirens from the cops. They had come, you figure, because of the gunshots, and he flees off into the woods. He does kill one state trooper, but as he continues to make his way throughout this wooded area, there's one person that catches him, and it's Bronte. She didn't die. She faked it. And she went back in the house, grabbed the gun, came back outside, and she's cornered him in the woods, and she's got him dead to rights. And Joe actually begs her to pull the trigger and finish it, but she doesn't want to do that because that's what he would want. And at one point, he calls her Bronte, but she says, no, my name is Louise Flannery. And then when Joe actually makes a play for the gun, Louise Flannery pulls the trigger, and she shoots Joe. She shoots him in the dick. Good on Louise. Good aim. At the sound of the gunshot, the rest of the state troopers come in, they grab Joe, and Joe gets arrested. And when Joe is put to trial, it is a huge, huge story. Not only is Joe thrown in prison for a long time, the world knows what happened to his dick, and they revel in it. He got thrown in jail, life without parole. Dr. Nikki was vindicated. And you've got Dominique and Phoenix doing the rounds on podcasts talking about how they had an impact on this sentencing. As for Nadia, she took her degree in teaching, and now she teaches women in prison about getting over trauma, just like she had to. Harrison, Maddie, and Gretchen are once again a family. Now, Harrison was in jail for 48 hours, but somehow he managed to get a neck tattoo, but eventually he was freed. He didn't do anything. And as for Maddie, even though she played a part in her sister's death, because of the circumstances, the court was pretty lenient on her. She had to go to rehab for her pill addiction, but other than that, she came back out and she's better now. And not only that, she's pregnant with twins. Oh, and then Henry's living with his mother, Kate. She had survived the fire. Now she's got a nasty scar on her arm, but she's fine. Doing much better now that Joe's in jail. And when she has dinner with Teddy and his husband, Teddy lets her know that the Lockwood Corps is now 100% non-profit. They're simply doing good. As for Kate, she's returning to her first love of art. And her number one client is Marianne Bellamy. Louise took the redaction from Joe and she republished Beck's book, the version that was supposed to hit the shelves. And it's a bestseller. It's actually selling better than Beck's first book. And as for Joe, he sits in a jail cell. His hair is, well, it's gone. It's shaved off. And as typical with Joe, he takes no accountability. He thinks everybody else is weird and he's normal. Like, for example, when he gets fan mail from these women that want him to do ungodly things to him, he thinks that they're the psychopaths. He thinks there's something wrong with them. And that is the end of You. The series is finished. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. And let me know what you thought about the ending, because there won't be a season 6. So this is it. All right. I'm going to go watch something else on Netflix.